As the regular season has wrapped up, the NBA playoffs are about to commence. A clash of 16 teams will collide and only one will come up on top. Today, I will be making my NBA playoff predictions for the first round. Starting off in the Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers will be playing the Miami Heat. Although the Miami Heat showed two impressive outings against the Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls, they are not beating the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have consistently been the best team in the Eastern Conference throughout the whole entire season. With their core four of Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Jarrett Allen, and Evan Mobley being the Defensive Player of the Year, the Heat stand no chance, and I got the Cleveland Cavaliers sweeping the Miami Heat in 4 games. The Memphis Grizzlies pose an interesting threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder, but with the combination of injury issues, defensive lapses, and a decline in rebounding, as well as the perceived disconnect between star player Ja Morant and the coaching staff, I believe the Oklahoma City Thunder should easily win this series in 5 games. Led by MVP caliber player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the OKC Thunder have been historic, having a 68-14 record, an excellent defense, outscoring their opponents by an average of 12.5 points per game, and overall this should be an easy series for them. Now moving on to the Eastern Conference, we got the Boston Celtics versus the Orlando Magic. Although the Orlando Magic do pose a threat for the Boston Celtics, as they have great players in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. They also are one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league, are missing Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner for the rest of the season, and the Boston Celtics are one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league, and if you do the math, you can easily know that the Boston Celtics would win this series in about 4 or 5 games. In the Western Conference, things will start to get interesting, as the Houston Rockets will be playing the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have much more experience than the Houston Rockets, as they have great players in Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry, marking one of the best dynamic duos in the NBA. Since acquiring Jimmy Butler, the Golden State Warriors have been on a tear. They just won 23-8 with Jimmy Butler, marking one of the best records in the league in that time period. But the Warriors' biggest issue against the Houston Rockets is their tendency to commit turnovers, especially in the playoffs. This allows the Rockets to score easily in transition and second chance opportunities. Since the Rockets are young and athletic, they can devise a great game plan against Stephen Curry. They can throw the kitchen sink at Stephen Curry, as without Stephen Curry, the Golden State Warriors are not very good. Obviously, Jimmy Butler can take advantage, and he can play very good. But other than that, guys like Brandon Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody cannot step up at the playoff level, in my opinion. And I think the Rockets would love for those guys to beat them rather than Stephen Curry or Jimmy Butler. The Rockets have a strong point of attack defense with players like Amen Thompson, Dillon Brooks, and Fred VanVleet, which would make it difficult for the Warriors stars to score. Look no further to the last time the Rockets and Warriors faced off. Stephen Curry only had 3 points, with Amen Thompson primarily guarding him. While the Warriors have a lot of playoff experience, the Rockets' younger players might have fresher legs, especially after a longer break. This could give the Rockets an edge in terms of energy and stamina. Ultimately, I think the Houston Rockets will win the series in 6 games. Now let's go to the Eastern Conference and predict the series between the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. This season, the Detroit Pistons have emerged as one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and potentially have a chance to upset the New York Knicks. The brilliant play of Cade Cunningham and the improved defensive play of the Detroit Pistons give them a good chance. However, the New York Knicks have much more star power than the Detroit Pistons, as they have NBA superstar and one of the best point guards in the league in Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, they got OG Anunoby, and obviously they got their big man Karl Anthony Towns. But do they really got the best player in the series here? I think the Detroit Pistons have the best player in the series, as they have Cade Cunningham, who's been averaging over 26 points per game and has emerged as an all-star this season. He's averaged over 30 points per game against the New York Knicks, and as a result, the Detroit Pistons were 3-1 this season against the New York. In the regular season, Cade Cunningham has exploited the New York Knicks' pick and roll coverage and drop back of their bigs. The Pistons' big men, including Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, can hold their own against Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks have struggled mightily against teams that play hard defensively, and they have a tendency to rely on the brilliance of Jalen Brunson, which could be exploited by the Pistons' approach. Elite wing defenders like Oscar Thompson and Ron Holland can make it difficult on Jalen Brunson offensively. Cade Cunningham has played very well against perimeter defenders such as Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and OG Anunoby, as he shot 58% from the field against them throughout the regular season. But I got the Pistons upsetting the New York Knicks in 6 games. Heading back to the Western Conference, we got an interesting series between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Los Angeles Lakers have a trio of elite creators in Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves. The Lakers also have great wings in Rui Hachimura and Dorian Finney-Smith. Do lack size in the paint, as Jackson Hayes is their only center. This is where Minnesota can have their advantage with their strong defense led by Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels, who can disrupt the Lakers' offense. Guys like Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle can feast in the paint due to there not being a big man presence on the Los Angeles Lakers. Julius Randle will have to have a big series against the Lakers, which he hasn't done in the playoffs. Additionally, guys like Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Dante DiVincenzo will have to step up in order for the Timberwolves to win this. I believe the Timberwolves can win 2 to 3 games in this series due to the Lakers' lack of presence in the paint, but overall, I don't think the Timberwolves will be able to stop star players like Luka Doncic and LeBron James, and even Austin Reeves, as they're a deadly trio. Due to the Timberwolves' lack of spacing between Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards will have to face a big burden in this series, and I believe the Lakers will win the series in 6 games. Heading back to the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks are set to face the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers have home court advantage and are a high-octane offense, ranking top 10 in offensive rating. They're a well-rounded roster with guys like Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner leading the helm, along with a supporting cast of important role players such as Benedict Mathurin, Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, and TJ McConnell can pose a big threat for the Milwaukee Bucks. However, Antetokounmpo is the best player in this series and is a huge difference maker. And if Lillard can return in this series, the Bucks have a pretty good advantage against the Pacers. Ultimately, due to Damian Lillard's uncertainty of playing, I believe the Pacers will win the series in 6 games and upset the Milwaukee Bucks. And lastly, best for last, the best series is the Clippers versus the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers have recently been on a hot streak, as Kawhi Leonard is emerging to be like 2019 Kawhi, and James Harden has been playing out of his mind. If Kawhi Leonard keeps up his play and James Harden gets over his playoff woes, it will be very hard for the Nuggets to stop the Clippers. Additionally, the Clippers have 2 other great players in Norman Powell and Ivica Zubac. Norman Powell has been a great scorer and third option for the Clippers, as he was almost an all-star this season, and Ivica Zubac has been a great rebounder, rim protector, and pick-and-roll partner with James Harden. The Clippers are also ranked as one of the best defenses in the NBA due to their plethora of role players such as Derrick Jones Jr., Amir Coffey, Chris Dunn, and Nicholas Batum. However, the Nuggets have the MVP on their team in Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray has came back from injury. The dynamic duo has won a championship together and is definitely a threat to Clippers. The Nuggets supporting cast of MPJ, Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, and Peyton Watson, along with Christian Brown, have to step up in order to take off the burden off Nikola Jokic. Ultimately, I think the Clippers will win this series because they have better role players than the Denver Nuggets around their star players, have a better and more stellar defense than the Nuggets, and the Nuggets supporting cast and depth hasn't proven to support Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray enough, and hence, for this reason, I got the Clippers winning the series in 7 games. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe and leave your predictions in the comment section below.